Hello and welcome to Crafting Changes Quick Class. We're going to make a balaclava today. A balaclava is a close-fitting garment that covers the head, neck, and part of the face. It helps to hold the warmth in because the heat doesn't escape from the top of the head. While some patterns will cover most of the face except for the eyes, we've chosen to design one that leaves most of the face open. Since we're using fleece, which is difficult to breathe through, we don't want to suffocate the wearer, and we do not want the balaclava to be a substitute for a COVID face mask. There are two patterns available for this project. The first is Balaclava Kids Hat by Charmed by Ashley. There is one pattern with size adjustments to fit kids ages 3 to 5 and 6 to 10, and it's a free download. You can also find a companion YouTube video. The second is an adult-sized balaclava by Crafting Change, which is a free download in 2 parts. You can find the links for all of these patterns under this YouTube video. What fleece works best? I recommend using anti-peel fleece, the purple material in this demo, as it has the stretch needed for this project. The gray material is Luxe fleece, and although it's a beautiful fabric, it does not stretch enough. Remember to lay out your pattern so the greatest stretch goes around the head. Once you've downloaded the pattern and printed it at 100% scale, check the 1-inch test square to make sure it printed correctly. This is a fun pattern to cut out, as you can make it all the same or mix and match solids and prints to use up some of those scraps. You will need 2 of the face pieces and 1 of the center back cut according to the dimensions on the pattern. For the adult size, you can get 3 balaclavas out of 15 inches of 60-inch wide fabric, plus you'll need another 5-inch by 20-inch of material for each for the center back panel. Before you start, test stitch on some scraps of fleece. Since you're working on stretch material, pick out a stretch stitch to sew the seams and for hemming. My go-to stitch was a narrow zigzag stitch for the seams, and I just made it wider for the hem. But be careful to not use a stretch stitch that goes forwards and backwards a lot, as it will stretch out your fabric and make it wavy. For the hem, choose a stitch that will go side to side over the turned up raw edge, like a serpentine or a wider zigzag. Once you have your stitches and settings down, write them down somewhere. If you're having trouble with the fleece shifting as you sew, you can try a couple of things. The first would be to use a walking foot attachment on your machine, or use a stiletto or purple thing to help feed the material under the feed dogs. You can even loosen the pressure foot tension, which is different from the thread tension. If you have an electronic machine, you should be able to loosen the pressure foot by adjusting the setting. If you have an older machine, it usually is the silver knob somewhere near the top of the machine. Make sure to mark where it's set before you try adjusting it so you can get it back to normal when you're done. And please, don't try this if you're not comfortable with it. The actual construction is easy. First, mark the wrong side of your fabrics, and remember that when you gently tug on a straight edge, fleece will curl to the wrong side of the material. Now pin or clip the rectangular center back piece to each of the face pieces with right sides together. Stitch these 2 seams, then grade or trim your seam allowances to reduce bulk. Next, pin or clip the center fronts and stitch them together with right sides together. Also grade or trim the seam allowance. Now all that's left is to turn under the face opening and the bottom opening about a 1/2 inch, pin or clip, and then stitch the hem down. Use a zigzag stitch or stretch stitch. Sew the seam allowance down, going over and back the raw edge to make a smooth hem that won't be irritating on the face. Guess what? That's it. You're done. Now for the adventurous, try adding a fleece binding around the face opening. The color blocking is cool and the binding helps the balaclava to keep its shape. Refer to our Crafting Change video, Adult Fingerless Gloves, for help on adding a fleece binding. Thanks everyone in making and donating to all of our partner charities. And please know that we are very thankful for you. You've been instrumental in helping to change lives. We appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you and take care, and we'll see you later. Bye-bye.